I've been all over the world and seen some awesome collections, but this one by Lowballer GTR in Arizona I've wanted to visit for a while. He has the HKS World Record R33, an early RWB, and more. So find out at the end how he affords this collection and why they're all black. We are here in Scottsdale, Arizona. Let's go on in, let's meet him, and check out what is, in my opinion, the coolest collection with some of the most special cars in the entire world. If we come upstairs, the collection is cool, but what is arguably just as cool is the upstairs here. So, up here is the ultimate man cave, I guess, where you can hang out. Man, I would live here if this was my place. Pool table, immediately. There we go, and then we have drinks, you know, you want skateboards, these little toys and stuff, all the gifts from HKS, which is, you know, if you know, there's some HKS cars downstairs, so they give the little toys, letters, all that stuff. Now, let's meet the owner, and he'll give us a tour of this collection. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Jordan.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no problem, man.
I, really cannot believe this is, happening. I've seen this collection on Instagram for probably a couple of years now, and so to actually be here filming it is kind of surreal. If you would have told me a week ago, I would have been like, really? Are you serious? I think this is an exclusive. I don't think you've ever done a collection before.
No, and not even a lot of people really know this building exists.
Well, here you go. You're getting I guess a world's first actual collection video of the Lowballer GTR black collection. So, why are all your cars black? I do have to ask.
Yeah, no problem. So I grew up next to an old hot rodder,
Yeah.
and he had a 1956, just like that car out there, and all his cars were black. And he said that when you take care of a car, it's clearly evident, but when it's black, you can really know if someone takes care of a car.
Yeah.
And I think that just stuck with me and kind of imprinted on me from I was always there between the age of 9 and 15. I like a little bit of everything personally. I think life's too short to just get obsessed with one brand. And I think there's so many different diverse cars, and some cars sound incredible, but they might not have handling characteristic you like. Mm-hmm. And I just think that's why I like diversity, man. It's it's everything. This is a Gallardo block, and we used to race a twin turbo Gallardo. And it met its demise on a 5th gear pull at a half-mile event and put a rod through the block. So man, I had to make lemonade out of lemons, and I figured instead of throwing it or trashing it, my buddy Aaron at Carbon Theory Metalcraft kind of fabbed up all the legs, threw some glass on it, and now it might be one of the world's most expensive coffee tables.
And then here you have a racing simulator.
Yeah, little simulator. Arizona gets super hot in summer, and it's just nice to kind of keep the skills sharp and spend some time on there with friends. Yeah. Everything is inside in the summer here. So this is a good way to pass time, and we track out at a club called Apex Motor Club.
Which car out of all of these do you track the most?
So I'd say most track miles are on the ACR Extreme. They're incredible track cars.
Love HKS, right?
Yeah, huge fan, man. When I've always been a fan of theirs, and then we'll cover this car here, the first one. But when the opportunity came up to buy one of their demo cars, we did. And it's probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. I love this car, and this is their T002. They were the original owners of this car in 1995. So they took delivery of the car. It was their R&D car for anything GTR related for the 33. All the jigs were made up on this car, and its goal was to be a world record holder. So it held a Tsukuba lap record, and then it held the 0 to 300 Yatabe high-speed circuit record. So this car did 0 to 300 kilometers. Sorry, guys.
I was like, wait, who's coming in here?
You and me both. I was surprised.
I was like, wait a minute. All right. So, anyways, back to the video. So this car is the holy grail of JDM.
Yeah. So I mean, in the era, the world record car is really cool, and like I was saying, it went 17.6 0 to 300. McLaren Senna does that 1750 today. So just to kind of think of that acceleration power and being, mid 90s for that matter, it must have been mind warping, right? Yeah. So I bought the car. I won it at a Japanese auto auction. And then after I won the car, the folks were super cool. It was BH Auction. The auction rep reached out to me and said, hey, the president of BH and the president of HKS Japan are friends, and they're interested in bringing the car back to Tsukuba spec. So it had like a stock RB in it. It was rear-wheel drive, kind of think of it as a SEMA build. And they took the car back. They were like, were you interested? Yeah, absolutely interested. They took the car back, put their brand new serial number 1 first serial number, this RB, the Step 2 RB. And then basically redid the entire car nut and bolt restoration to what you see today. And then after it was done, they took it back to Tsukuba and they shook it down again, which I thought was really cool, where the track it broke those records at. Max Cerrito drove it, which is an HKS factory driver. And I mean, dude, what you see today is a finished product. So they did a stellar job on it, dude, and they're like the nicest people.
Yeah.
Ever.
Wow, this is a cool car.
Thanks, man.
So when you bought it, you didn't know that was going to happen?
Had no idea. So I mean, when they call you and ask you that, you'd just be silly to say no. To my knowledge, this is the only private customer build that was done at the HKS factory. They have the HKS technical factory, which is kind of where you can take your car to get HKS parts installed in Japan, but nothing to my knowledge out of HQ. And this is the only demo car that they've sold to a private party. So the last one was a Supra that went internally.
It just doesn't get any more special if you're into JDM. I mean, this is it. This is the car. If you're into Skylines, the R33 is actually my favorite GTR. So to see the ultimate R33 and maybe even the ultimate Skyline, in my opinion, is pretty special.
Ultra underrated, man. I love 33s. I think everyone chases 32s, which, hey, it's a great car, and then like 34s people kind of go crazy over, but I think the 33s in the middle, I don't know, I love the body style, so I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome, man.
And here, we have another HKS. What's up with this car?
So after this car was acquired, I got to talk to them a lot. It was really cool. And then the car went back to the USA office, which ironically is about 30 minutes from here. We just wanted to look at the tune, make sure the car is running good. This car was always there. This is their demo car for the US, and it was for Global Time Attack. It was kind of the build behind it, from what I understand. And I loved it. It was wrapped in like kind of a Nardo gray with this oil slick livery. And they said, hey, we're kind of interested in selling the car. We're going to ask some dealers, and if they don't want it, I put my offer in right away. I said, this is what I'd be willing to give for you, the car. And the dealers never got back to them. So after a couple days, they were like, hey, we'll sell you the car. And when they rewrapped it, we did a matte black with the oil slick livery on it.
All right, 996 Turbo.
Yeah, I know these are not like the most loved generation of 911. This is the car that was in the showroom when I was a kid, and I love this turbo design. This car is lightly modified. It's got like a CAE shifter in it, which I think is really cool. But it's just a great, kind of feels still mid-90s. The car still feels small. I like kind of all the 90s controls. It's just, I think they're seriously underrated, and they're a solid buy, kind of in for future appreciation.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they don't like the 996 because, well, first when it came out, it was because the air-cooled, water-cooled. Now it's because of the headlights. People think that this is the egg headlight, like a cracked egg, and they just hate on it. But there are a few people in the world that love this more than the normal 911 lights, or just as much. I would consider myself one of those people because I think that they actually look really cool. And I guarantee in the next 2 years, people are gonna start loving them. And what I actually think is gonna happen, people are gonna do some like resto mod type things where they're gonna take new 911s and they're gonna put those kind of headlights on them. I'm telling you, it's coming. So when you see one, you're gonna remember this. I said it right now. Speaking of Porsche and circle headlights.
Yeah, it's a RWB. I got this from my friend Daniel at RMC, he owns RMC Miami.
Oh
Yeah. So he's a rad guy, and he curates some really sick cars. I actually followed this guy though on Instagram before I bought the car. This car was actually built at RWB HQ in Japan.
Oh, wow.
And I saw it on Daniel's story, and I'm like, oh my God, I think he bought it. So he's a super gracious guy, gave me the first right of refusal on the car, but I took a picture of this car and saved it because I always wanted to build an RWB, and I wanted to build it just like this, 964, work wheels. I mean, this is pretty much the clone, so.
I guess before we move on,
yeah,
we'll start with this SVJ.
Yeah, so I think the SVJ is a rad car. Like, if you actually track it, the ALA system is amazing. I think the previous Aventadors, they are the understeering, like not good handling cars that people describe them as. but we actually had an opportunity to take this car to Rolling Raceway, and it's actually phenomenal on the track. I just think that unfortunately this car's legacy will be revving in a parking lot. But if you really get out and use the car what it was designed to do, I mean, they're awesome, awesome track cars, man. So yeah, I've enjoyed tracking this thing and driving it. I think it's the last hardcore V12 Lamborghini that will ever be made.
I mean, the Aventador for me actually like changed my life. When I was a kid, all I cared about was 50s Cadillacs, Bel Airs, classic cars, muscle. And then I was 9 or 10, walking down Knightsbridge, and an Aventador drove past. It was 2012, and it was like kind of revving, but not really. It was gray. And I remember looking over, and that car just like blew my mind all of a sudden. And then it kind of changed what I like, and now it opened me up to more exotics, and obviously I still like the muscle, I like the JDM. And then here, my favorite car in the collection actually. This is a 355, not a challenge, but tell us what this is, because it's definitely not a normal one.
Yeah, so this is a 355, all challenge parts, OEM. And again, this is another RMC car. Daniel had this car for a little while. I traded one of my cars for it. Stroker motor, which I think is one of the coolest parts of this car. So chops like an LS, actually has a pretty good bump and power over a stock car. I've had the pleasure of riding in a stock car, and this car is definitely a lot quicker. But it was originally a Japanese new car. It spent its entire life in Japan. The guy that owned it loved tracking, and he wanted to build a really reliable 355 for track. So bigger radiators, bigger oil cooler, the stroker motor, JRZ coilovers, work wheels, a big brake kit. But this is just one of the coolest cars ever to drive. Gated 6-speed with like the clicking gearbox.
Yeah.
I really love it.
Are we able to look at the engine in it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
This car is full challenge parts. So you got the challenge wing, and on the challenge cars, you've got the vents in the back there. Has a custom bumper, kind of inspired by Honda boys with the holes in the bumper. With this engine, wow.
Yep. So still the factory Ferrari engine. Like I said, just a stroker kit on it, ported and polished RZ coilovers. The reservoir is right here, but pretty straightforward. It's been MAF deleted. It's running on a Motec now. So it's utilizing a map sensor, and hopefully get it to the track soon.
Yeah, I mean, and this is carbon Kevlar?
Yeah, so Group M made a ton of parts for this car way back in the day. They're no longer made, unfortunately, but the engine bay, the intake, all the interior is all Group M stuff, and probably one of my favorite parts of the car.
Take a look at this interior, guys. Full everything, like even the parking brake has like carbon Kevlar handle.
Yeah, the guy had good taste. I always enjoy getting to like build the cars every now and again, but this guy kind of knocked it out of the park. There's really not a lot you could change on to make it better, I don't think.
Give me a like on this video so I can buy this one day, please. And then here, GT2 RS, Miami Blue.
Yep, Miami Blue. So this is my wife's car, and she has a lot of non-black cars. She's a really colorful person. But this is her car, and I bought this for her 2.5 years ago, before the 2RS market really exploded.
Yeah.
And it is violently fast. Like violently fast car. I've never driven a stock car like this. You know, it's incredibly quick. So when she got it, I took it for a quick spin, and I said, man, you gotta be super careful, you know? And now she's tracking a lot, and she's actually getting ready to take it to the track soon. So we'll see how that goes, and I'm looking forward to it.
And then here, Demon, right?
Dodge Demon.
Dodge Demon. This is a very rare car. You really don't see them at all.
No, like 3,000 units, and then most of them just sit in collections. I think there are probably more sub like 200-mile Demons than anything else. So actually this car is a unique one because I bought it. We were supposed to go on a rally, and the Gallardo that I was telling you about always had some mechanical thing going on, and the car broke. So that's the car we were gonna take. And this car had 66 miles. It had just been delivered to me, and the rally was coast to coast, New York to San Diego. So I didn't have a lot of cars at the time, so I had this. So we put it on a transport truck. It got dropped off in New York City with 66 miles on it, and then this car drove coast to coast in a 9-day rally. Wow. So it's got about 5,800 miles on it now, but it was it might be the only coast to coast Demon in the world, or the United States at least, you know.
And then up here we have a Neon SRT4 ACR.
Yep. So ACRs, we have them because of Neons. So that was the first variant of ACR, and it was actually the first gen Neon. This is an 05, and this is a dealer installed stage 3. So they made these stage upgrades where This one is basically like a modified 16G turbo. It makes about 400 horsepower. And if you had the dealership install it, it was under warranty. So it's a little cast iron, kind of like a DSM block. Think of it like a little mini Cummins diesel motor. And man, they make some power, about 500 wheel, 600 wheel on a stock bottom end. Wow. So they're super underrated. I know it's a Dodge Neon, but that was my very first like really cool performance car, and I've always loved them.
Yeah, and I remember when you bought this, I saw on Instagram you were making a pretty big deal. You were
yeah.
like, this is the car for me. Out of all these supercars, this is the one that seems to be one of your favorites.
100%. That's why it stays around, and I think that you should drive what you love.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times when people build collections or start buying multiple cars, they become obsessed with the status that the car gives them.
Yeah.
And I think you should get what you like. And this was a really cool car. It was incredibly competitive when it came out, 03, 04. They ran like a high 13 stock, which was a really quick time. And I just think they're great little cars. And it was $19,000, brand new.
Wow.
So yeah, the insurance for me was more than the car payment when I bought it. So I probably should have thought that out a little bit more before I pulled the trigger, but
yeah.
I worked to insure this car essentially. It's like $500 a month. Yeah, dude.
And then here's this 56 Chevy Bel Air.
Yeah, this is a 56. It's a 427 Big Block that's been punched out to a 440 with a Doug Nash 5-speed. And kind of talking about that hot rodder, he had a 1956 Chevrolet. That's the car I grew up loving. And when I bought this car, I went to show it to him, and he said, hey, I actually have the Big Block out of the car when you were a kid. The same motor that was in the car, I'm going to sell it. And I wasn't going to sell it, but I'll sell it to you. So that actually has the engine in kind of like my childhood Halo car. Wow. It's the same exact engine that was when I was a kid. So that's why that car is super special to me.
That is special.
Thanks, man.
And then here, got some more JDM stuff.
Yeah, some more JDM goodies. This is actually one of 17 federally legal R34s. This is a Motor X car. It's a 01 V-Spec II in GV1 Black Pearl. Has about 40,000 kilometers on it. This car was restored by me. My friend Dan at Hoagie Shine did all the body work and paint on it. It was actually a really nice car when I got it, but there was like a little scratch or just something that was so deep I couldn't paint correct it out. And just being like kind of OCD about the cars, we did a full windows out paint job on it. The interior was immaculate and kind of get what you see today. And I think these are going to be really a lot more expensive when the US legalizes them at 25 years. So the first ones are coming next year.
Yeah.
This won't be eligible until 26, being an 01.
But it's already legal.
It's already legal.
Here, so you don't need to worry about that.
Never.
And then T-Spec GTR right there.
Yeah, so I bought this car. It's the Midnight Purple one. They brought back Midnight Purple and Millennium Jade. And this is one of 33 Midnight Purples delivered to the United States. It's a T-Spec. Believe it or not, Millennium Jades were more rare. I think only 22 got delivered.
Wait, so the green one is rarer than the purple one?
Yeah, that Millennium Jade color is more rare than this one. So I kind of thought it'd be the opposite, but I think a lot more people opted for Midnight Purple being such an iconic color. I actually have not drove that car yet, and I am in a debate whether I should or not. It's got 35 miles, delivery miles.
So wait, hold on. So you bought a car, but you never drove it? You didn't, like, not even 1 mile?
Not 1 mile. It got dropped off behind the warehouse. I pulled it in here, and I know people will say, oh, it's a waste or it's a shame. I drive everything in here, but this was one car that I felt was going to be really special. I know they just redesigned the front end for the new one, but I think as, again, we get into kind of more of a hybrid-assisted supercar category, this will hold a special place, and see what happens. If the next guy wants it, it has delivery miles, or maybe I'll just drive it myself. I'm still in a battle.
Yeah, you have to decide, right? And then here, probably my second favorite car. This is a 993. Now it looks like a GT2. So it's got the full body kit. It's got the badges even. It's got all that stuff. But GT2s are worth about $2 million, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I just was with one in the white collection. I think that car's estimated to go for like 2.5. It's pretty sure it's the most expensive car in that collection. So this car, it's not a real one. Nope. What's the story on it? How did you get this? Yeah,
so this car was actually, this is a Porsche Mizwa. It was a Japan car initially. It was restored and wide-bodied by Technical Mate out of Japan. After that, it was sold to a collector in the UK. And from there, they put a 993, a Porsche Nordway, put a 993 twin-turbo motor in it.
Oh, wow.
Yep, so that kind of completed the, the GT2 Tribute, if you will. And I'm the next guy in line, and I give the guy a ton of credit. He did a wonderful job. It's Aberdeen green metallic. It's one of 4 slick tops built in this color. But He did an awesome job. The interior is immaculate. The Recaro seats in it.
Yeah, everything looks like a GT2.
Yeah, so they just did a really nice tribute. I put the shift knob in it. That was the only thing that was kind of missing. And I have a factory GT2 wheel that I already acquired for it.
I mean, it's even got like the back in the here. It says
Yep.
GT, which is on the cars. If you look at that.
So Dave, the trimmer in the UK, did the entire interior.
Yeah, he did a nice job.
A stellar job, man. It came out really, really good.
Are these BBSs?
Those are not BBSs. I forgot the name of the company, but it's like an OEM equivalent to BBS. I hope I can remember it. Maybe I'll mention it when I do. But I rebarreled them. They were kind of bent from UK roads.
Yeah,
so
potholes, sounds right.
Had no idea that's how bad they were there, but yeah, we rebarreled each wheel, and it's pretty much how it came.
I bet it's night and day compared to the 2 RS.
It is, and I mean, even if you just look at the physical size difference, it's so much smaller than the 2 RS. The 2 RS kind of looks like a truck compared to it.
And then here we have a Honda Civic. You might be wondering, why is there a Civic in this collection? Well, why is that?
So I was a Honda guy a little bit, you know. I think growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, you kind of can't not be one. But this is a 13,000 mile SI. And I'm returning it back to stock. I have the stock suspension, and ironically, dude, I posted a picture of it asking if anybody had new old stock SI wheels because I was looking for a new old stock set. And a guy on Instagram of all people messaged me, and he's like, I know this sounds crazy, but I work for American Honda, and we do have those, and I'll sell them to you. And like 2 weeks later, this big container truck showed up at my house and had a little pallet with the 4 new old stock SI wheels and new old stock center caps. It'll be back to stock soon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it, man. Just have to be careful driving it because these Hondas from this era got stolen a lot. That's why you see so many like salvage title Integra Type Rs. It's just because this era of Honda was before transponder keys, and they were just super easy to steal with, it's called a jiggler key. And I mean, you basically put it in, move it around, and the car will start. So yeah, it's an unfortunately.
I did not know that. And then here, E39 M5.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best M5s ever made.
Yeah, so this car actually came out of Tucson, Arizona. I found it on Craigslist.
Oh.
And was the single owner. And we had a stack of service docs. The ad was poorly written. So when we started talking, he started sending me everything. So this car was actually in California most of its life. Was serviced by Dinan before he sold, Steve Dinan. And when I got it, it needed like just some mild work, nothing bad. It was in wonderful condition. It's got 98,000 miles on it. Pay tribute to the Dinan background. We did a Dinan Stage 3 on this car. So I just got that finished. So tune, intake, exhaust. I got enough parts to get the Dinan badge. Wow. I was kind of like satire, but I think it's super cool. Yeah. So like the Dinan badge is a big deal when I was a kid.
So if you guys don't know, with Dinan, you have to buy multiple parts, right? And is it like 5?
It's 10 points, and each part has point value.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then when you get to 10 points, you get the Dinan badge, which I finally acquired.
Kind of like a video game in real life. You have to like level up, upgrade your car. Then you get the like little badge on the back of the car. It says Dinan, or I say Dinan. I don't know if that's right, but. And then here, E63S Wagon. Yeah, this is a wagon. I love wagons. I know they didn't probably catch on in the States like maybe in other parts of the world. Yeah. But I think they're super practical. We throw our dogs in it. You know, this car's got a little over 700 horsepower, AWE exhaust, and a tune, and it just boogies, dude. So I don't know why you wouldn't love them. I think they're perfect. I've taken this to the track too, and it's an awesome car. And then one of my other favorite cars in here, CLK 63 Black Series.
Yeah, so this is a 17,000 mile car. I've always loved these cars. This car came out when I started my business, and I just, you know, starting business and you're just investing everything into that. And I mean, I love this thing so much. This was actually one of my really good friend's cars, and unfortunately he passed away. And when that happened, his family was kind enough to reach out to me and say they were going to sell the car. So it's an incredibly special car just at a time in my life, and it's incredibly special because it was one of my good friends. To finish the collection tour, we have 2 cars left. ViperACR Extreme. So what's the difference between the Extreme and the non-Extreme? Sure, so Extreme is going to be the second set of canards. These diffuser pieces, these hood pieces that are removable. It has like one speaker right here in the center that is the only stereo speaker. And it is just totally stripped in the rear end as well. No insulation, no sound deadening, none in the car either. Underneath the hood, there's normally matte like on the bottom here for sound dampening, and you can see it is just a big piece of carbon fiber. Fully adjustable suspension that actually is cool. Once you take these louvers out, you can just hand reach in there and adjust compression and rebound without having to take the wheel off. So it is just a hyper track focused Dodge Viper.
So this thing really is built to track.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, this car is gnarly. Yeah, it is the craziest track car I've ever driven that comes out of the factory.
Yeah.
Even over the 3 RS and some of the best Porsches. This car is insane.
Because everyone's talking about the new 3 RS with the DRS, you can adjust your suspension, like that's all crazy. But I didn't know this car, you can take the vents off and adjust your suspension manually with your hands. And this front splitter, it's like the Black series, right? You can put it on or you can take it off.
Yeah, you can take it off. They sell a smaller one, so just by simply taking these bolts out, you can remove it and you just take these off. I leave it on. I mean, car's low, but it's actually super tough. It was made for the track. Yeah, as long as you angle into the driveway, you're good. Everything's manual in this car. Fixed aero, manual transmission, no flappy paddle gearbox, and it's punishing, but once you kind of master it, it's a incredible car.
One more car for truck, I guess. We have a TRX right here. Is this your daily?
Yeah, kind of daily, and I think this is like one of the sickest like all-around vehicles you can buy. This is the Viper, which is a cool photo.
And then you have a Harley Davidson?
Yeah, this is my father-in-law's, man. So unfortunately, he passed away about 3 years ago. Just recently got it and took it to Scottsdale Harley Davidson, had them just go through the whole thing. Even though I don't ride a lot, I just love it.
You have one more car that you want to buy in the near future?
Oh yeah, I would love to buy a P1. That's my dream car. So McLaren, figure out the battery so I can buy that car, please.
And then speaking of business, what is your business if you want to go into it?
Yeah, sure. So we do automotive repossession. And then from that, I started a software company with some friends. There's 4 founders to it. We ended up having that company be sold. The repo company is run by my wife today. And that's kind of been my last 16 years in business.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you started a repo business, basically.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a morbid like sounding thing, but you know, I always enjoy being like friendly and chill with people. Yeah. And I think that your stereotypical repossession guy is thought of as like this really big jerk or whatever. And I was really successful at it because I just treated people like people, you know? And if they ever needed extra time, I'd always try to give that to them. And I quickly realized that, you know, I was really good at the job because of that. And I loved driving. So I thought, man, this is like the greatest job in the world. I get to drive around all night, pick cars up, and I was happy. Working in an office, you know, before that, I thought it was the greatest job ever.
So you started as a driver, then you made your own business out of it?
Yeah, so I started as an agent and then just quickly realized that I would do things a lot different, more efficient, and I just was tired of working for people. So I took the leap, and a lot of the stuff, man, is only recently. You know, we reinvested back into the business probably the first 8 to 10 years. Yeah. I drove a tow truck everywhere. I didn't really even have any nice cars, so family gatherings, holidays, I would have a tow truck sitting outside. And now we're at the point where it's got about 80 people working for it.
Wow.
And 6 offices in Arizona, and it's kind of running itself. We have a great team now.
And when you were a kid growing up, I mean, did you ever think that you would get to this point where you had a collection like this?
No, not really. I mean, I'm really fortunate. I worked super hard to get here, but no, never in a million years. And there was a point probably like a year ago where I came in and I was like, you know what, man, work's one thing, you always got to work hard, but just enjoy your life a little bit. This is crazy. Yeah. I never thought it would be this way.
Yeah, no, it's really incredible to see what, you know, you've been able to achieve, but I think it's important to remember that work isn't the most important thing. And also, this isn't the most important thing, right? Like, it's relationships.
No, it is, man. And that's like, so that's kind of another part of business is like networking, creating good relationships, but enjoy your time with your friends and family. And no matter how much you have, like if something bad happens, it's all the same, whether you have all the money in the world or nothing. So some of the happiest times of my life, man, is when I didn't have anything. Yeah. So I think that you shouldn't just focus on material things. And I understand people are going to say that, well, it's because you have them. Yeah. But I promise, save yourself a lot of heartache and just do what you like. And, you know, just know that friends, family, and spending time with people you love is the most important thing.
All right, well, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Dude, I appreciate it.
Mind-blowing, and I thank you guys for watching this video if you made it here. Whatever your dream is, never, ever quit. Because there were days 6 months ago, a year ago, where I wanted to quit, but I didn't quit. And look at this now. I mean, yeah, don't quit.